Hello my friends and happy Kaiju Live. Today we're looking at Godzilla Kingdom of Monsters from IDW. This was, to my knowledge, the first IDW Godzilla comic book we got. At least it was the first one I read. And what a cool double spread cover that is right there. Really cool artwork by Eric Powell there. Really disappointed he doesn't do the main artwork in the book, but he does write most of the series, or co-write anyhow. It's Eric Powell, Tracy, Marsh, and Jason Ciaramella, Phil Hester, and Victor Santos doing artwork. That issue 1 starts off really cool with that awesome Alex Ross artwork there for the cover. Book starts out really cynical, like these kids playing. They get eaten up by Godzilla coming up out of the sand here. And I like that callback. We don't see him coming out of the sand too often, but we do know that happens. The book's got a bit of political commentary that even at the time of 2010 or 11, I thought was a little on the nose, was a little dumb and eye-rolling. And that only increases rereading it a decade and a half later, because the commentary is even more dated, and if you're not following it, it's a little like I was really I've never watched Jersey Shore in my life. I don't really know anything about it. And the commentary about Jersey Shore and MTV stuff in this book is a little lost on me. It feels a little shallow, but I guess it's making fun of the shallowness of nature, the nature of humanity. And speaking of, we just nuked Godzilla, which made him angry, and now he has heat breath, which he did not show beforehand. So, good job, us. And that's the whole thing with this, is just showing how bad people are. Until, I don't know, later in the book, it starts turning around. You could argue for the worse or for the better, depending on how you're looking at it. This cover right here is really cool. I find Obama, the Obama president, is pretty unbearable in the first third of the book, but he seems written a lot more competent and less of a character mouthpiece. So I don't know who that is in the writing mix, but the book just is very. The first few issues are hard to follow, even though there's some cool action, just for the fact that there's no central character to care about. Everyone dies, everyone is miserable, nothing is good. This kid who stole this meteor rock, it hatches into a Rodan. Well, the Rodan's just gonna eat the kid. Just like this guy, Godzilla killed his family, so he decides he's going to be a suicide bomber, but it's not going to help. It's just very cynical. I get what they were going for, but it's not my favorite. I can't argue with the monsters, though, because all the monster fights are sick. I love that Anguirus plays such a big role in this book, because he's just the best. He doesn't have traditional, like, powers, but he's a powerhouse. This bit where he just busts through the border wall here, I remember they did that in Pacific Rim and thinking, oh, that's kind of familiar, because I read it in this comic a couple years before. But yeah, this is so sad with the suicide bomber. Him jumping off, and he's sacrificed his life to take out Godzilla. It's just a little blip on his nose. He hardly feels a thing. And then it just keeps going, a big blast and some destruction. Really cool cover right here. I got a little bit more hooked when we introduced these two psychic twins here, making me think, oh, we got some fairies going on. Gonna get some Mothra action. And yeah, these two hicks right here, I thought this was a little ridiculous with them trying to go monster hunting. But we see these girls aren't all quite there, and they're not very nice, so they're not like any Mothra shinobi I am aware of. And we become fully aware of why they're like that in a little bit. But I enjoy this right here with just the two Koreas and them them both being frightened but then rooting for the other one's destruction. Just showing how people suck. But oh look, the twins found the giant egg washed up. Oh boy. And see, this was dumb. This is our Lady Gaga stand-in, and she's like doing a benefit for monster rights. And we got this Asian rapper here doing a Kanye West saying that the president hates Asian people. And see, that for the first third of the series, all the stuff with Obama is just making fun of the news and things surrounding Obama, and not like the actual government or presidency itself. When it starts delving a little bit more into that, it becomes a bit more interesting, I think. And just like this, the whole Lady Gaga and Jersey Shore characters, I did not care about at all. The only thing I know about Lady Gaga is what was on that South Park episode where they're doing the rock band thing, singing the song. But yeah, I'm not too plugged into the popular culture. Hell, first time I actually heard of Kanye West was the South Park episode with the gay fish. So I don't know. I guess I live under a rock when it comes to that sort of thing. But here we see the egg hatchet into a Batra, which I absolutely love. One of my favorites. And we get this little tease that never gets payoff with this old guy seeing these two shinobi right here. That doesn't get revisited, which is a bit of a bummer. But this is where it really gets good right here, is this issue where we're introduced to this soldier character, Woods, who is pretty interesting, and we get to know him, and once we have him as a rooted human character, it really gets going because you feel connected to the plot a little bit more, and the book becomes less cynical and just, for lack of a better word, spiteful. But yeah, here they're making fun of all the Hollywood celebrities and stuff, and them being ridiculous liberals, and this soldier guy just taking them to task because they like call him out on being a homophobic Republican, which is just so dumb. But he's just like, no, I don't like any politics. It's all dumb. And yeah, I can agree with that to an extent. This Jersey Shore stuff, it don't do anything for me. But I found that whole exchange there just really stupid. Like, not subtle at all, not good writing. Like, you could have done that better. You're doing a lot better job of just like writing giant monsters. I like some good political commentary, some good social commentary, but I like there to be something behind it. I want there to be a good writing to it. I want to care about it. Like, that's just making me groan. What doesn't make me groan is this awesome clash right here between Anguirus and Godzilla, and I actually enjoyed this bit right here where they make fun of the news anchors saying one thing in 1 minute and then completely saying the exact opposite. Because how often do we see that happen? See, this actually has something to say. It's not just saying, oh, X side is bad because straw man argument. Which I often find in a lot of these things. It's just very hollow commentary. That one actually said something. But yeah, this monster fight's just dope. They're really going at it. And I guess this guy's not a Jersey Shore fan either, because he lets them get blown up, which I'm okay with. I'm especially okay with it because we don't see the characters again through the rest of the book. And I like that soldier fella. But we got this sick cover here from Jeff Zarnow. Man, that's cool. And then, yeah, Eric Powell doing this great cover, too. And I love the evil twin girls with their whole queen get-up. But yeah, right here we got Rodan wrecking stuff with this great bit of this guy. He's figured out the kaiju problem. He's running out. He's so happy. And then he gets crushed by a building. A lot of good that'll do anybody. But yeah, pretty cynical here. It's terrible. We're showing some survivors and things happening. All the while, these girls are just deciding they're queens of the world, and they're running around taking artifacts and things, and the military's devising plans to take out the monsters. And it's terrible. The military sends out and drops all this gas that'll kill the monster for sure, but sadly it'll kill all the survivors on the ground too. They drop it anyway. Well, the monster just stands up above the heavy gas. It's so sad. The Germans try blasting Rodan with a light gas that'll stay in the air. But Rodan just blows the gas downward and it hits the soldiers. They die. It's just so sad. Showing how awful everyone is, fighting each other, hunting for food and supplies. And this is good. I like this right here where this soldier guy runs across this little girl and they bond and form a friendship, and he makes it his goal of just keeping her safe. Really cool. I love this cover right here. Hella sick. That's a fun cover too. But right here, like, this is where the book really hooked me and got me good. I got super interested once he met the girl, and yeah, this bit right here is real fun. If you have the single trade paperbacks, because this was released in 3 trade paperbacks, and this stuff right here would have been in the second trade paperback, which is what I thought was the most entertaining of the book right here. And this bit makes me laugh so much, where we see Obama unveiling the Mecha Godzilla plan. So fun. So we're revitalizing America by making jobs to construct Mecha Godzilla. I mean, that's a platform I could endorse. I love that they use the Super Mecha Godzilla design from the Heisei stuff too. But it's kind of funny because we have this great fight between the two titans here, but Godzilla blasts it and fries the control unit, the remote control unit, so the AI takes over, and then just flies to the city and starts destroying everything, which I thought was ironic because this is the only Mecha Godzilla that did not go haywire and just start wrecking shit up. But so funny. And here we get the soldier fella protecting the little girl from dudes, and here we get a sick cover with Godzilla fighting creepy crawlies. Whew. And this cover is so beautiful. I love this cover that Powell did. It is beautiful. Godzilla looks so frightening too, like a real force of nature right there. So cool. This issue starts off with this monk right here in this dragon temple. And I'm not the biggest fan of this here, but this monk releases and summons King Ghidorah, who we never actually see mentioned by name, but it is summoning the Ghidorah monster. And I don't know, I'm not a big fan of the hero Ghidorah or the mystical Ghidorah. Like, I like my King Ghidorah to be an evil or malevolent force. But here we got our fella and the little girl getting a bunch of supplies and trying to be survivors, intercut with the psychic twins doing their evil queen routine and mind controlling the monsters. Batra hatches into its moth form. It tussles with Rodan, but then they use their psychic abilities, realizing they can fully control the monsters, which is pretty cool. And they decide they're going to be queens of the world and do a world domination sort of thing. And it's setting up this awesome fight here between Godzilla and King Ghidorah. We get this sick cover of Batra from Matt Frank. I think this might have been the first time I noticed his artwork. So we got more Survivor action with the people. We got a dope-ass monster fight going on here. And this fight goes, too. It's pretty cool. Like, yeah, there's a little bit of people stuff in between. But, like, man. So cool. And the Mechagodzilla shows up and meets our human cast that we've been following, the Woods character. And this is really cool. The Mechagodzilla has kind of run out of power. It's run out of steam right in front of them. So they end up setting up shop inside the Mechagodzilla. And man, this cover right here is so dope. Like, I've never seen the Super Mechagodzilla look that badass. It's a really cool design, but it doesn't say badass like the original does or the Kiru design. But that right there is just full on mecha badass. That's what I want to pilot. And it looks so good here too. Oh man, I really like the artwork here on the back half of the book. So pretty. It's a bit more stylized, but I like it. Yeah, we get so many cool monster tussles in this series. 12 issues. Yeah, the beginning is a little bit of a slog, but once we get to like issue 3 or so, it gets real fun. And the only downside is when we get to the last issue, because there's no real fights in it. And when I'm getting a Godzilla or a monster book, I'm looking for monster fights. Like, I will forgive some hokey dialogue or some not so great social commentary or issue type of stuff if you're gonna give me a dope ass monster fight, but it better provide that monster clash. Oh, and this cover is so good right here. And you can see we're getting towards the back of the thick trade paperback where I'm having to kind of hold the page again. It was nice in the middle when I didn't have to do that. I would love it if IDW re-released all their material in a hardcover format, which they have not done, and with sewn binding so it will actually lay flat. Like, I would actually rebuy all my comics if they did that. Just because I love reading the stuff. I love having it bound up. I really regret getting rid of my single issues just because I can't fold it open for some of these really cool 2-page spreads. And there's one in particular where we're going to get some heavy gutter loss that's going to kill the image. But like, this is such a cool brawl right here. And it does a great job of intermixing the human stuff with the fighting to amp up and keep the drama heavy. Like, it's a good time. And this page right here is so sick when he unleashes on both of them. Oh, I like jumped out of my seat from being hyped when I first saw that. I tell you what. Yeah, this is the page I'm talking about. That gutter loss right there kills me. That's killing me. And this, I don't like this right here, sort of like that Gigan cover. This is a really cool cover with Hedorah, but not in the book. A little bit of bait and switch. I don't like that. I'd be disappointed if I picked it up off the stand. But Godzilla is just wrecked right there. And this is really cool because the girls, are using their psychic power to get the two flying monsters to actually take Godzilla to a nuclear reactor to recharge him, because they want to use their psychic abilities to mind control Godzilla and make him their king, because they are queens of the world, and he's obviously a king. But it doesn't quite work out too well for him, because they drop him into the nuclear reactor. Batra blows up the nuclear reactor to make it explode and unleash all this power, and it supercharges Godzilla, which, I mean, they're gonna regret. I love this right here too. That looks so good. But next page, he just thanks them with a giant atomic breath, and that's the end of the Psychic Girls, which disappoints me a little because I enjoyed them as antagonists and I wanted to see what they were gonna do. I realized their goal was pretty shallow. They just want to be queens and take over the remnants of the destroyed world. But still, I felt like them getting one-shotted right after reviving Godzilla was a little anticlimactic. But we get a cool tussle between Godzilla and Rodan and Batra teaming up. And none of them are doing too well. And again, this cover right here with the Titanosaurus. Same thing I was saying earlier. Just, it's not related, so it's disappointing. But it's a sick Titanosaurus. This cover right here is awesome. But this issue, this is what I'm talking about. The final issue was just very disappointing. There's no big monster fight. It's just every page is a double page spread with a big piece of scenic artwork and a little bit of dialogue talking about humanity will move on. Things are blah blah blah, but things could be blah 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 instead. Life will find a way. It's like, okay, but I just paid $4 for this comic book and I was expecting a monster fight. Of course, you're buying it in a trade paperback, so it's not quite the same pacing. But if you're buying this on the monthly and just pick it up as a single issue, it's really disappointing to not have a monster fight in the final epilogue issue. So that's why I say the ending is pretty weak, is because that last issue, no cool fights at all, just a tiny little tease of a Space Godzilla. And then we get some really cool artwork in the back of these various covers, and this right here is the cover they used for this volume, and I hate that gutter loss because this is such a cool piece of artwork. Like, that is a sick piece of artwork. I love that. Got, yeah, Manga, Rodan, Mothra, albeit the larva, Ghidorah, and Anguirus. All the monsters that were in this, except for Mothra, actually, who was strangely absent. I feel like they just did that maybe to hide the fact that it was actually Batra, but nah. That would have been cooler if it was Batra, just so it would have been related to the comic. But what a great piece of artwork. And so is this cover right here, this Jeff Zornow one, with Anguirus and Rodan in it. Oh, that is so cool. This is great. I love all these pieces of artwork in the back. They're really good. This Mothra is fantastic. Yeah, a bunch of Matt Frank. Yeah, that Kumonga looks freaking, ooh, real spooky. I hate spiders. Here we get the uncolored version of that Alex Ross Godzilla. That's really cool. This Phil Hester one's pretty neat. But this is what I'm talking about right here. That double page spread I liked so much earlier. Only in black and white. That is so sick. Like, get out of here. That is just so awesome. Whew. Yeah, this book's great. 12 issues. It's way cheaper to pick it up as a trade paperback right now. If you can. It was released in 3 single trade paperbacks with 4 issues each. Or you can pick up this big fat trade paperback with all 12 issues. don't mind the dings on the spine. That just means it's well loved, and I've read it a bunch over the past decade. But yeah, this series is a lot of fun, and the Woods soldier character shows up in a later IDW series, so it's worth reading this too, just for the setup of the good stuff that shows up on your shelf later. Because yeah, after this we get the Godzilla series, and then after that we have the Rulers of Earth series, and those are all kind of tied together, same universe sort of thing. But I recommend this one. It's got a little bit of a slog at the beginning there, like I say. But by the time we get right here with the little girls, and then after that, when we meet the actual dude, the soldier dude, it gets a lot better. So, like, yeah, by the time we're this far in, 80 pages or so, you're really having a blast. But I had a whole lot of fun rereading this with you. Oh, I forgot to mention, this is not the most recent edition of this. This series was also released in the IDW Godzilla Library series Volume 2. And the Volume 2 is just a reprinting of the whole series as it is here with different cover trim. So either way you pick it up, you're going to get the same thing. But it's a fun series. I recommend it.